Since this game has already been talked about to absolute death already, I reckon you already know roughly what I'm about to give this game, so I'm just gonna lay it out there plain and simple. This game is really fucking good. The passion and work put into this game is put on full display the whole time you're playing. From the beautiful hand-drawn animation to the soundtrack that slaps so unbelievably hard that it's difficult to find a song in the game that's truly bad. At the very least, each song has one part where you just gotta stop and go, yeah, now this is a jam. The difficulty of Cuphead strikes the perfect balance to me. Whenever you look at old critic reviews from the big shitters like IGN, you usually see something along the lines of, this game is too hard. But I think that the game is perfect. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. This game will wipe the floor with you on your first playthrough, and just when you think that you know all the boss's tricks, they throw some new shit at you. You'll get angry, you'll get frustrated at some of the bullshit moves in this game, but when you finally clear that boss, you finally jump that hurdle, it feels fantastic. And I think that's what Cuphead does best. Every boss seems perfectly crafted to test your abilities with platforming and shooting. Even the first boss, the Root Pack, acts as a perfect starting boss, giving new players a test run and micromanaging every projectile on screen, while also focusing on dealing major damage to each of the three bosses. Some bosses will throw curveballs at you though, especially ones once you get to the second world. Every boss after the first world has some new smaller change that they add to their levels. Baroness von Bonbon, for example, has this RNG mechanic where she'll send 3 of 5 different mini-bosses at you before actually facing you herself. Beppy the Clown has this roller coaster train that rams through the whole stage, forcing you to adapt to the hazard. And Grim Matchstick has these evil moving cloud platforms that really force you to stay focused throughout the whole fight. Some bosses even have some secret routes that make the boss easier in one phase, but compensate by making the next phase harder. A great example of this being in the Jimmy the Great boss fight, where I recently learned that you can skip the Puppet Cuphead phase if you stay in the mini plane during the transition. Little details like these keep each boss feeling fresh each unique time you run through them. There are also these optional run and gun levels that you can complete for more coins. These levels are a nice change of pace from the standard boss fights, but I gotta say, the enemy spawning system in the run and gun levels sucks my dick and balls. It is so apparent how ass the spawning is, especially when you go for pacifist ranks. Enemies will spawn in the most inconvenient spots, leading to hits that feel near unavoidable. This, in turn, leads to pacifist ranks feeling more like the stars aligned just in the right way rather than a test of your skill. Don't get me wrong, these levels are still fun to go through normally, even if it's just for the coins, but going for pacifist turns the run and gun levels from tough but fair to a downright agonizing death march. Speaking of coins, power-ups. You can use coins to get different shot types and little buffs in the shops. The perks can range from absolutely worthless to absolutely busted, with only a few truly balanced ones. Coffee, for example, is a mediocre charm. When equipped, the charm will slowly regenerate your special cards over time. This might sound decent until you see that the cards generate slower than a person dying of a ketamine overdose. On the other side of the spectrum, you have Smoke Bomb, which makes you completely invincible whenever you dash, which is basically just putting the game on easy mode. I guarantee you that 9 out of 10 Let's Plays of Cuphead will have the player using Smoke Bomb. It's the definitive no-brainer charm. The different shot types help fit most people's playstyle nicely. Wanna sit in the back like a little bitch? Chaser's your go-to. Wanna be a big dick Chad and hug the enemy for most of the match? Spread is your shot type. The problem is that once you find the shots that work for you, you never end up switching. Once I found my bread and butter of charge and roundabout, I never really felt like I had to switch. The only time I did was when I fought the Phantom Express and swapped to Chaser, Spread, and Pea Sugar because it fit the phases of the boss better. Other than that, it was charge, roundabout, and smoke bomb for every other boss. Despite my complaints with the game, they are more or less little oversights in an otherwise fantastic game, and it's only $20. Pick up this game and I guarantee you that you'll fall in love with at least one element of the game, if not all of them. Cuphead is gonna get a 9 out of 10, and it could possibly be bumped up to that perfect 10 if the DLC is truly as good as the game itself. Hey, thanks for watching. Positive review for once. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you really think that function still works. Loser. And until next time, don't do anything stupid.